Welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today, I have the pleasure of chatting with Deadpool, or Wade Wilson, as you see in the title, of course, which is it's not really Deadpool, but yeah, the name tag though says so. So and Deadpool even has his unicorn with us, of course.
Uni.
Hey, Uni the unicorn.
Yeah.
And well, Deadpool, welcome to the show. What I do here is I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they were once a part of. So basically, I just say, take us on that journey from as far as you can remember to now, and what made you become the atheist that you are.
Um.
There we go.
All right. Go ahead and start.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh?
Go for it.
All right. So, uh, I I just remember when I was like 22 or something like that, and one day I was just watching AXP. Never heard of it at first, just watching YouTube, and I came across, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I was getting high, and
Yeah,
so
yeah. Of course you can see that. That's fine.
all right, cool. So I was getting high and watching these videos, and I came across and just what blew my mind is that uh, it was like I've no one's ever like told me this stuff before, or even had a I questioned it in such a way, and uh, and so I remember one day watching it and just saying that what you call it. I'm trying to get my words out. Uh,
Use your words. Use your
right,
words, Wade. Use your
right.
words.
I'm getting a little nervous. That I was scared at first to watch it because I was like, I shouldn't be watching this stuff because I'm a Christian. And
Dun dun dun.
and so I asked, like, I remember like one of my prayers to God at the time. The last one was, protect me for what I'm about to see. If any of this isn't true, it's not true. So there shouldn't be anything to be scared of.
Right.
And so I started watching it, and I got more fascinated with it, with all the questions that were being asked, and it just grew and grew of all the stuff that I never thought to ask in the first place. To which I eventually started asking questions to my family to see if they knew what I knew, to see like if they know already these questions and or thoughts or anything like this, and it came to my surprise that they didn't know either, and it wasn't like doubting question. It was just things that uh, I didn't know about the Bible itself, like how many pairs of animals on the Noah's Ark, right? And I was like, it's not just two; it's like seven, the clean and unclean, right? And they're like,
Depends on which story you go by the way.
right. And so it's stuff like that. It was like I'm starting to learn, or at that time to learn that uh, they don't know the Bible as much as I thought they did. And so as I kept watching these videos, it just kept growing my curiosity to to what atheism is, and or what more about the Bible and so forth. So, um, but after a while, I just started what you call it, trying to reach out and go to like meetings, and I didn't know where to go, so I found Meetup, and there's one in Arlington, Metroplex Atheist. So I started going there and started talking to people, and uh, started I don't know if evangelizing, if you will, but like going there and be like, do
Trying to
you know
save
this
the
stuff?
atheists.
Well, not say the atheist, but like what, I don't know the terminology for it, but it was like trying to talk to them and see what if they knew what I knew,
Mhm.
and I would just go every week and just talk about the Bible, and they're like, well, not everyone wants to come here and talk about the Bible because we're trying to like get away from it. Everyone talks about it. We want to talk about something else, and so I had to get used to that and whatnot. But um, um, I don't know what else to say at this moment exactly. Uh, what other questions do you have that might help the flow?
Well, I don't really. I never prepare any questions. Basically,
Okay.
there's some usual ones that I ask, like because
Uh-huh.
I often find that when somebody leaves a belief system like that, let's face it, it is a part of who we are, really. Even though you are who you are by accident of birth.
Uh-huh.
Let's face it. Okay. And obviously, it's nature and nurture at the same time, right? We're all born with, I guess, pre programmed, not really programmed because it's not really like a program, but we're going to be a certain way as who's. Oh, there we go. There's the coins right there, guys. First one of the show. We're going to be sort of. They say people are born with specific personality traits, but of course those are molded a little bit as we grow through, our family and surroundings and stuff like that. So when you first found the Atheist Experience show, how devout of a believer were you going into watching that?
Well, in comparison to other people, I don't think I was like that devout. Like I just felt a regular person that believed. Like uh, I didn't doubt it or anything. It was just that it was a normal thing. Everybody believed, and this is what we do. It's a
Or so you
normal
thought?
thing. Yeah, right. And so it wasn't that I would love to go to church and whatnot or anything like that. I hated it, right? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I saw it as like a Christian, but like seeing how people really are there, it was crazy that I had this personality already as a Christian. I'm like, why did we come here if everyone's just gonna fall asleep anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't even need to go to church really. We could just worship at home. Like what's
Right.
the point of this, right? So I just had this mentality of like it's already stupid as it is, but I just believe that God is real.
Mhm.
Um,
What
and
about
that
the Jesus factor? You believed he was the son of God and all that?
oh yeah, I believed
Okay.
it all, man. It was just I didn't have any doubt or question of it. I didn't pray regularly or anything. Only when I needed something, right? It wasn't like I was a good Christian. Uh, but that's the whole thing about it, right? You don't need to be a good one. You just got to be one.
Yeah, you're saved if you've done the whole
Yeah,
motion and all that, right?
right. So, but I had my different views on it, unlike most Christians and whatnot. But Uh, I definitely had questions that weren't really atheist questions. They were just like questions that I would think most people would have as a Christian that never could gain answers from.
Well, what are
And,
some of these questions that you had?
when I was a kid, like in what you call it, I know my first question in youth class or Sunday school was, why do we keep saying apple? Like it doesn't say apple, so
No, it
why?
doesn't.
Yeah, and I was like, why do we keep saying it? Why don't we just say fruit? Like
Yeah.
that. Why are we changing it from something that isn't what it is? We should just stick to what it says. And the youth pastor or whatever would say like, it doesn't really matter as long as the message gets across, you know. And so I'm like, okay, well,
Which is true, really, if you
yeah,
think about it. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, but I just thought that was one of the main ones, the first one that I ever thought of, realizing that reading it and hearing what people say don't line up. And it like, I know that was the infancy of realizing that we're not actually saying what the Bible is actually saying.
Mhm.
Um, but there's overall when watching these videos like Talk Heathen and whatnot, I start uh, getting questions that stories I've never or stories I've heard of, but never heard the full story, and start questioning about why we don't ever hear these stories or the full story or see it in a perspective like this, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the apple was one of them. can't really think of any other questions. Uh,
How about
from
Jonah and the whale?
right, and I would have questions like that. Would be like, it's not a whale, right? It's a big fish. Why?
Right.
And so it wasn't. These things are changing, and that people are believing that aren't really being said, and it just confuses me. So, um, yeah. Let's see.
Poor Randy. I've been out of pot for 2 days. I'm no good at it.
uh, but yeah, I wasn't like I said, I wasn't crazy for church or Jesus or anything. It was just that was the normal thing to do. But now I kind of like to go to church just to see what the arguments are, because sometimes they change and whatnot. But it's to be fresh on what's being said, and
Mhm.
trying to find people that at church, which is kind of difficult to do, but to have conversations with people that actually want the conversation,
Right.
and
Do
not
you
have
find
like
many people do, or
some people, but they wing off after a while and then they find no interest. But it keeps me entertained, trying to find people who actually like to talk about it. And it's very hard to find Christians who actually want to talk about the Bible, that and not just
there's a
evangelize or
reason
try to.
for that?
Yeah, but I have hopes for Christians that would like to just talk. You know,
Right.
for
Do you use an
example,
SE approach with them, or
what's that?
street epis do you use an SE, like a street
Uh,
epistemology type approach?
Not necessarily. Sometimes that comes across whenever a subject or a thought comes up, but I generally like try to talk about what they think about the Bible, or if they remember this story, how does it go, without actually looking at the Bible at the moment, and then
Mhm.
let's go into the Bible to see if that's actually how your memory is, if that's actually what's being said.
Right.
So trying to actually learn. And when
Reinterpret it yet again?
right, because because our memories suck. So
Yeah.
but this is what I normally do with the Christians that I talk to, is that uh, I once had this conversation of how like they would normally they're like, so you want to debate? I go, no, even though right now this is a debate to because you're telling me what my position is, but I want to correct you on what I'm actually doing. And what I'm trying to do is have a conversation to exchange ideas, thoughts, and opinions.
Mhm.
But I don't want to. Debate has such of a strong of a word that it has bad connotation. I don't want to say that. I don't want to use it. But I want to have a conversation just to talk. And I think that me and you can learn something. You might not know something, and I might not know something, but we can learn from each other about the Bible in some way. And and sometimes they're like, "Well, I don't want to learn anything," which surprises me as if I put my Christian hat on or whatever. And it's like, you don't want to learn about the Bible, like why not? So it's crazy to see that when you challenge them, most of them, they don't want to talk about it, and that's kind of where my struggle is among people that want to talk, about the Bible. So
Well, they probably say they don't wanna learn because that's what they do when they go to church, is they learn from the pastors and stuff, right? But
sure,
let's face it, the pastors really don't. They leave out a lot, right? A lot of the
yeah, yeah,
nasty stuff,
yeah,
especially
and
Old Testament stuff.
and that's the point, that I'm there to not leave anything out. I'm like, okay, so you remember this story? How does it go? And uh, and then I'm going to tell you how I remember the story, and then we'll go look into the Bible and see how it's actually told, and see
Mhm.
if we can learn anything. Uh, and but there's thing and it's crazy. It's not only church or whatever, but it's like people that from work where uh, I generally don't try to. They just come to me, and I would have to put up a disclaimer or a enter at your own risk uh, disclaimer thing, right? So before they say anything, because they would come to me and say it, and I go, I would love to talk to you about the Bible, but you have to know that I like to talk, and I like to talk about this stuff. This is kind of like my hobby. So, and most people don't like to hear what I have to say, but if you want to continue talking, then let's have a conversation. And this lasts for a few weeks, and to some it maybe months, and then they give up, and because they try to, of course, try to convert me. And I have an analogy where where one of the analogies is, I like talking about knives, and you're trying to sell me your knife. However, I don't want to buy your knife, but we could continue talking about your knife. But you find this pointless because you're trying to sell it to me, and I'm not going to buy it.
Right.
So, but there is worth to it. Is to talk about it. It's supposed to be like that's the worth. But for some reason, I don't get it. Why it's not worth talking about it. You all it is to you is a sell. You know, and that blows my mind.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. I mean, yeah, you're born into some eternal curse, and we have a cure for you.
yeah,
That's the sales pitch,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
But
Uh, you're
how?
sick, and I got the antidote.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got the vaccine,
Right,
which
right,
which is a vaccine they'll take, right?
right, right, right,
Fuck that COVID vaccine,
right.
morons. But anyway, yeah, I find that one funny too because they're all screaming about their freedom, their freedom. Well, if you took the goddamn vaccine, you'd get some of your fucking freedom back, for crying out loud. But no.
Yeah.
By the way, in both the Canadian Charter of Rights and the American Constitution, a government can and will mandate vaccines when necessary. So there's no freedom being taken from you because it's part of the Constitution and
Hmm.
the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So there you go. So anyone says, "Oh, you're trampling on my freedom," actually, no, no, they're not.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
stupid
Well,
vaccines.
so let me get this straight. You never really went to church until you became an atheist, and then you
No,
started kind of going from time to time, kind of thing.
well, no. I grew up with my parents, and they would take me to church all the time. And after a while, well, I was forced to go and whatnot, even though as a Christian don't want to go. Um, but after I got older and whatnot, uh, I made up lies to get out of it, what have you. And then
Mhm.
they got tired of me not going, and they told me, "Well, I'm going to have to go regardless, no matter what." And then I would just show up and sleep, and then go back home. I'm going to sleep. Like I work till like 2 a.m. at a restaurant, but doing a dishwashing and whatnot. So I'm late at night working, and I'm not going to be up with church, man. So, I'm going to be sleeping. So if you're okay with that, then okay. So they eventually they were okay with that, and then because I can't really sleep there, I'm overhearing, eavesdropping what the pastor's saying, right? After on the ride back home, I have all these questions because I'm a skeptic like that, and I quiz them on the way home, and they don't like that. And I was like, well, then stop taking me to church. If you don't want to talk about it, then stop taking me to church. Uh, but I would have these conversations constantly, and they just don't like it either. So, which is normal. So, but yeah, just uh, uh, And I remember one time, me and my girlfriend, Caitlin, we would we went to my friend's baptism once, and
Oh boy.
uh, and uh, uh, and they were going across Exodus, right? And Exodus 20, and then they skipped over Exodus 21, and we're like, wait, what? You missed 21, and skipped right over it, right? And
Of
what you
course
call
they
it?
did.
Oh yeah, because I was anticipating it because I was like, oh, 20, and then like I'm waiting and waiting, and I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Uh, and with our my friend's family or whatever, I don't know who they were exactly, but uh, there was like a teenage girl with us or whatever, and she was sitting next to me, and I thought it was surprising that no one has Bibles there or whatever, and I thought it was hilarious that they skipped over 21, and I was showing her on my phone. I was like, He just skipped over this passage that talks about slavery and shit," and I started reading it out loud, and she was like amazed. I was like, "Yeah, they're not going to tell you that in church, you know." And so, and then other things that he would say, and then that would not necessarily contradict, but it wouldn't. There would be a different verse that would say otherwise, I guess, you
Hmm.
know, in a different way, and or another story that's parallel, and that or a story that they didn't finish of how it ended, or how a detail that they weren't mentioning, and I was like, he's not telling you about this part, you know. And and I thought, well, if anyone's getting mad at me for doing this during church, then you should be mad at the Bible. Like, what, there's nothing I'm doing uh other than telling a person what the Bible actually says, you know. It's not my fault the pastor's not telling the full story, you know. So, but me and Caitlin were going crazy over him skipping 21. Ugh.
Yeah, I believe that Exodus verse is also there in um, talk about the abortion stuff. I think too, like the potion that's given,
I don't know about Exodus. An
or is that
abortion.
Leviticus?
I
I can't
found it
remember.
I don't remember, but I found it the other day because I was talking to my friend months ago about where God was trying to, you know, not necessarily abortion, but I guess you could call it that, killing a baby in its womb by giving a poison to the mother. And my friend that is a lot like me, he uh, he couldn't find anything with those elements, and finally, just recently, I realized, I thought about it and
Thanks for
realized that it
that.
wasn't about poison. It's called bitter water,
Yep, yep.
and the bitter water, she was instructed to drink it to kill the baby. And there's reasons behind it, what have you, but the whole point is that God instructed a woman to drink something to kill the baby, and I thought
Yes.
that's crazy, you know. And people don't talk about it. People and often don't even use it as a defense of abortion, which I think is kind of crazy too. And maybe not a defense for, but a argument for it. You know, what's it say?
Thanks to thanks to Derek Cruz, just saying happy 55th. It was my birthday on Wednesday, so
Oh, happy birthday!
yeah, nice. Yeah, 55. I'm officially an American speed limit.
Well, you passed up 40 and 30 and 20, so
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you keep
Yeah,
speeding up.
the 30 and well, here we have 50 kilometers, which is like I think 31 miles an hour down there, and
Uh,
30 kilometers, which is like school zone shit, right?
yeah.
So, oh, and another one from Mr. YFNA.
Mm. Hey,
By
Ethan.
the way, guys, whoopsie daisy, I don't know how the fuck that happened. Go fuck
I
yourself. Get
missed
out of here.
Band Aid. No.
I will be joining. Oh, I guess I should mention that. Let me see here. Yes, the 9th of November, I'll be back on The Perspective. So there
Cool,
won't
cool.
be a show that night. Also, I'm hoping that it'll happen, but Jonathan's always got to do the one. Thanks, Jonathan. um, I'm also hoping to be at Faithless Forum.
Cool, cool.
My hematologist that I saw yesterday I said, well, Doc, even though the blood clot is still a little bit there or whatnot, and she said, because she's felt around and she's checking it out, and she goes, that still feels a little bit swollen at the ankle area. And I said, yeah, probably a little bit. But she said, yeah, you have no problem with flying. If you had it, like if there was something in your lung or something like that, then I'd be really concerned about that. But she said that it really isn't that big of a concern at the moment because it's pretty much dealt with. I've also got a prescription for 3 more months of these lovely pills that I have to take for the anticoagulants is what they're called, also known as blood thinners, but they don't actually thin your blood, FYI.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I can fly again. Now there's another issue
Huh.
that I just learned about today. Even though I have right here somewhere, let me find it real quick. It's apparently not so quick.
Huh.
It should be on like screenshots or something here. Yeah, or no, not even. There it is. Even though I have my vaccine this is my mom's, but because
Huh.
she doesn't have a phone, so I have this is what we consider a vaccine passport,
Huh.
and I have the card in my wallet. Now apparently, I'm going to need a federal. Oh Jesus Christ, Ollie! Yeah, there you go. You can thank Ollie for that one. There you go. You can apparently I need a federal um, passport now.
Weird.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm still going to be able to go or not.
Huh.
I don't know because now I need to get a federal passport, and I don't know exactly. They're not available to download yet, so um, I'm not sure. So now it's all up in the air again until I
Right.
figure this out. But I do have like 3 weeks to figure this out because it's not till the 19th.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure yet. Again, so we'll figure it out. But I'm really, really hoping to be there. Hi, Amy. Oh, and David Worley also showed up, also wishing me a happy birthday with the birthday cake there. Yes, Jonathan is going to buy me a drink. I'll probably have a few while I'm down there for sure. I know I'm not supposed to drink a lot, but I'll stay on the beers and maybe have 1 or 2 every other night or something. But yeah, I can't be drinking a lot. And by then, because of this whole blood clot thing, I should be done with the smoking because I'm literally weaning off of it now. So because that's the number one cause, like the number one leading cause of why these blood clots happen to guys my age. So
You have methods of how to quit smoking?
yeah, I've done it before twice, like
Hmm.
and went for like a year or even 2 years once. So um, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
I just wean them off and then just be done,
Yeah.
and just hope that you know. Uh, no, Ollie, not all American beer is weak. I know this firsthand. There's like 11, 12, 13% beers down there, buddy.
Yeah.
So it's we have them here too, of course. But anyway, back on topic.
Uh-huh.
now that we're halfway through. Um, so like were your folks really into it, or were they more like you, just kind of the casual Christian sort of thing?
They're really into it. They buy books. They even have a Bible study room. I don't know
Oh
how often
wow.
that they go in there, but it's
Or
uh
is it dusty?
right, right. No, I don't think it is, but they definitely have all the the pictures and and knickknacks and whatnot like that. They're not
Mhm.
overbearing of it, I don't think, but enough to know that you're walking in a Christian home. You know,
Sure, sure, sure.
um, which reminds me of another question that I would bring up to them would be like there would be a picture of Jesus, and one day I learned that Jesus doesn't look like this,
Right.
and I go, why do you have a picture of white Jesus?
Couldn't
And
look like that either, by the
right,
way.
and they're like, well, it doesn't really matter what he looks like, blah blah blah. I go, well, shouldn't it though? I mean, this is how you interpret what Jesus looks like. shouldn't you have something that closely resembles what you he actually or what the Bible actually says? Like he's brown, bronze, whatever, and white hair or something like that, right? And it's like, why don't you have a picture like that? That makes more sense. But if you know he doesn't actually look like this, why do you have it? You know. But they don't really care what he actually looks like, which to me, as a atheist, looking at it as a Christian perspective, I think you should care, if that is that you care about the truth and all, which they
Claim to.
claim to, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like it just bugs me, grinds my gears, man. It's just like you would think that you would be closer to what the actuality of all things, to which you think is true. So, but yeah, they
So
have all this stuff.
if they're pretty into it, do they are they like really Bible believers? Do they believe in
Oh,
like the creation story
oh,
and the Noah's Ark story
oh
and
yeah, they believe everything in the Bible. So that there's nothing that they don't believe in of what the Bible says.
wow.
They, of course, they have apologetics that they talk about. If I bring up something, there's reasons for it. So, but yeah, overall, that they have questions like that, and um, but there is one question that I had, which uh, what's it called? Uh,
I don't
um,
know, man. It's your question.
well, I'm like a warning or whatever to because it's sensitive. Uh,
Okay.
so I forgot what the terminology is at the moment, but
A trigger warning?
trigger warning, and so beware. One question is that I asked my mom. My dad was in the car one day, and I asked my mom uh, that people to be front about it. It was like people get raped, right? And
Mhm.
and people because she was saying that bad things happen to bad things happen to people because of trials and tribulations.
Whatever
uh
that means.
right, and I go, well, not everyone that has trials learn from it. They have bad situations and they can't learn from it because they die from it. So there's no wisdom to gain, nothing to learn. And
Mhm.
so I give them the scenario of like a person getting raped and murdered, and there's nothing to gain from that.
Right.
And uh and of course they're like, well, if maybe the rapist or maybe someone else is looking at the position can learn from it or whatever. But I go, but the person that actually was going through the trial, the situation can't or don't. And so I go, if it's only the rapist and the victim and God only being the only ones that know about the situation because no one else is around to see it, you know, uh, why it would seem like God is just watching it happen and not doing anything, you know?
Mm.
And my dad at first was like, well, maybe it's another person that saw it and ignored it. And I go, no, no, no. I'm talking about this instance where there is no other people. It's like in a dungeon, basement, cellar, whatever. It's only these two people and God, you know, and God isn't telling anyone, hey, go over there and help this person being raped and save them. This,
You know
we know.
what though?
Uh huh.
He could have intervened to begin with.
Right, right. Uh, and that's the whole point. He's not intervening. But even to the argument that he he's not even sending anyone to intervene.
Right.
And my dad intervened or argued against it. It was like, what if is it not possible that God told someone to go save these people and denied God and told God no? I go, so you're telling me that God chose a person that would say no to God to himself, and that's why they got raped and murdered. And he goes, well, you're twisting my words. I go, no, I'm just saying the same exact thing back to you. and
Hmm.
you don't like what you're hearing. I don't like what I'm hearing, but I
Right.
don't. I can't believe you would say that God would choose someone that would say no to Him to save someone. That's not saving anybody. He deliberately chose someone not to not help.
That he
That's
knew
fucked up.
was going to say no because he's all
Yes.
knowing too, right?
Yeah, and I said that, and I was like, "That's fucked up for you to say," to for you to admit this, And I was like, I can't believe the words that are coming out of your mouth, as a Christian, this blows my mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I have difficult questions like that, conversations, not often with my dad. He gets too heated and whatnot, and which gave me good practice when I was living with them, coming out as an atheist, because it gave me practice to the public when I would talk to people. And my dad would like make fun of my stutter if I would stutter and whatnot like that, or mock me in some way, and I by this happening I would understand how to deal with that, and how to cope with people how they're talking to me.
Hmm.
And to me, it shows me that you're not capable of having a mature conversation, a serious one. And it was like, this is what it comes down to. This is what we're doing now. Is that you're gonna make fun of my stutter? You know, this doesn't do anything with our conversation that we're having. You don't care of the seriousness, right? You're just frustrated, and you're making fun of me. That's not cool, you know. And so, uh, knowing that this is going to happen, or at least knowing this happens, when I see it, when I go to bars or whatever, and people do the same thing, I know how to react when people say those same things, you know. And
Hmm.
so I'm already used to the environment because I practice with my parents with it. So it's made it a lot easier and not so nervous and scared when talking to people in public.
So your folks do know that you are an atheist now.
Yeah, I started off by saying that because I didn't want to scare them and didn't know how to approach it, whatever. But
I eat babies.
right, right. uh, but no, I started off by saying, I'm spiritual, not religious type thing. It's like I don't know what I believe at this moment, but maybe, So I was trying to do it slowly with them, so
Right.
I didn't
Right.
just jump out. And then one day they asked and go, uh, "Are you an atheist?" And I go, "Yeah." And they're like, "So you don't believe in anything?" I go, "No, I believe in
No, that's not
things."
what an atheist is.
Right? But they're like, "So you just don't believe in God?" Yeah, I don't believe in
That's right.
God.
Any of them.
Right?
There have been
So,
hundreds of thousands proposed. Why, yours is the right one.
right, right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Hello, Best in Show. Welcome to the show. Also, I saw some more people pop in here. Phoebe. Phoebe, hello, Phoebe. I know this isn't a wrestling promo. Deadpool is never a wrestler. And John Fapiano or Fapiano. Welcome, welcome, everybody.
no, just kidding.
It's a people's elbow.
Ah, WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah.
But oh yeah,
So
so go ahead.
did your relationship with your, like, say, your friends and family change once they figured out? Do you think, anyways, or do they, it's just now there's different topics of conversation?
Um, good uh transition. Like, it's not really changed, as in the relationship. Like, there's no hostility of like, I am their son, they love me, and so forth, vice versa, and whatnot like that. But there's been times where like there was a difficult situation where my family would tell me that I can't have certain conversations like politics or religion, and made it
Yeah, we
difficult
all
to
hear
have.
that though.
Yeah. And but then they would continue having conversations with me with those topics, and I go, "You can't do that. I'm trying to respect you by not having these conversations," which makes it really difficult, because there's limitations of what I can talk to you about. But you
They're
can't
very
teach.
polarizing topics, right?
Right.
So,
right, and that's my bread and butter is politics and religion and whatnot, and it's more of the how what you call it, just skeptical questions on politics more than the actual details of stuff. But as far as religion goes, it's that they would well, family would talk about these topics, and I go, you can't tease me with these conversations and expect me not to say anything back. You can't do that. The rules apply to you too. Otherwise, it don't talk to me about these things. Uh, but I like to talk about anything and everything, but you can't make rules and not abide by them too. So
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and
By the way, that was the best comment of the evening so far. I never eat the baby. I just push around on the plate and try and hide it under the mashed potatoes.
must
That's a
be a lot of
lot of
mashed
mashed
potato.
potatoes.
That's what I said. It's a
You build
lot
one
of.
up Devil's Tower like they do in fucking Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Mashed potato sculpture.
I was thinking mashed potato baby. Yeah.
If you smell what 604 Atheist is cooking.
Got that little
Cooking up some
eyebrow.
meth in the lab, man. Cooking up some meth in the lab. That's what my one of my old bosses used to barge into the lab at work and go, so is the meth finished yet? I got to get out on sales. Yeah, no, it's not. We make antifreeze here, you dolt. It's not often you can call your boss a dolt. Right? But,
Yeah.
where I work, it's no big deal. We always have a lot of fun. Well, I think is there anything like for people that might be in the position you were in just shortly ago? What kind of advice would you have for them? How to handle their coming out, I guess you could say, as an atheist or a non-believer? Because I know a lot of people don't like the label atheist these much. And let's face it, there's a lot of negative press on it, and guys, it's been self-induced. All right, because there's a lot of us on the kind of, we'll call it the bad side of atheism, that have not been making it look good for the rest of us. So there's a lot of dicks out there. Let's just put it that way. So I tend to just say, I don't believe it. I'm an unbeliever, a non-believer, or whatever. Yeah. I still use the atheist, obviously, right here, but that's the branding that I've chosen. But yeah, a lot of people are kind of scared to say that they are. So what kind of advice would you give to people that are in that sort of a position and just sort of freshly out of it? And how do they disclose this to the people that they care about?
You don't really need to use the word atheist. You just, I mean, if you want to
Unless
be
they
on,
bring it up, right?
yeah, they'll bring it up if they ask. Like if I like I told you, or there's when I go to those meetings, or used to, that they would ask me if I was an atheist. And I go, I'm not. I like to be as honest as possible, and I don't like to lie. So yeah, I'm an atheist. But the whole entire time that I'm there, I never said it. I asked questions, or I would ask them questions, and that's how they started asking me questions of who I am. But as far as that, you don't really need to say that you are an atheist unless you really want to tell them. You don't have to tell them anything. And it would be nice not to lie, but you don't have to. You just keep asking questions, or say, "This is what about this?" And they'll come to their own conclusion of what you are, and that's if you want to tell them the truth or not. I mean, it's not against the rules or law to lie. You don't have to tell them that you're not an atheist, or an atheist. It's whatever you feel comfortable telling people who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what I would suggest too. Yeah, just when people ask you
Uh-huh.
why you haven't shown up at church, or why you haven't shown up at Bible study, or why you haven't shown up at Sunday school, or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
synagogue, mosque, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You don't have to, people are going to notice, and they might ask
Yeah.
you questions, and that's when you can talk about it.
Yeah. And you don't have to. Like, if why didn't you show up to
Since,
church?
yeah,
I
you could
was
say,
busy.
yeah. Or you can say, I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause, you're
Yeah.
still sorting
Whatever.
stuff out in
Yeah.
your own head. And that's most likely the case in a lot of fresh out of the belief system people, right? They're
Yeah.
still dealing with their, wrestling, because we're on that sort of thing tonight, apparently. Wrestling with their ideas, right? So, throwing a few body slams over here, a few Deadpool atheist elbows over there, you know, that kind of thing, right? So, yeah, that's one thing that we do really have to remember is we don't have to talk about things if we're not ready to do so.
Yeah.
So don't ever feel pressured, and don't let people pressure you into thinking you need to,
Yeah.
because you don't, right? Until you're ready to spill the beans, you can
Yep.
keep them in that pot and keep stirring. Wow, that was weird. But anyway, kind of want beans now, but
Oh,
Paul
what
Driver, the
kind?
atheism. Oh, I don't care. I like most of them.
Yeah.
Except, I learned something the other day that kind of shocked me. If you, I think it's kidney beans. If you don't cook them and you eat them raw, they'll kill you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I
I
know.
didn't know that.
Yeah. You
Weird.
actually have to cook these beans. That's it. Yeah, because so when you get the bean salads, you know what they have, like the chickpeas and the little bits of onions and all the other beans. I love bean salad. The kidney beans will be cooked. Well, most of them are cooked anyways in that, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Oh, there's another coins for you guys. Yay! You see this many coins in one show, I'm pretty sure Ollie's going to be so baked he's not going to be able to figure out how to get into the after party. So what you let's go back to sort of the
Uh-huh.
beginning when you're talking
Sure,
about
sure.
the kind of the way you sort of got into this thing because you kind of stumbled upon an atheist experience show.
Oh, yeah.
Were there any other shows that started showing up in your algorithm that kind of led you further down the path?
Uh, just Talk Heathen and Atheist Experience were the main two things that I was watching for every day, like every night for like years. Uh, and I was obsessed with it. I would learn so much from it and use that uh, like whatever I've learned and talk to people of what I've learned through those videos. Um, and uh, and I told Caitlin that my favorite two people from Atheist Experience was Tracy and Matt because they were laser focused and
Mhm.
kept on point of every situation or every conversation that was being had. And
I liked
uh,
Russell too. I really liked Russell too.
oh yeah,
But I felt a connection with him because we were both ex-Jews, right? So, or secular Jews, I guess you could
yeah.
say. Right?
But like there's one clip that when coming out or realizing that I was an atheist or just not fully understanding what I am, but at the time watching these videos was when Tracy had a caller with Matt talking about morality and how you can if you can judge God's morality based on the morality of your own that this guy doesn't
Your
say
own
that he
moral compass kind of thing.
yeah moral
Yeah.
compass. And I was like, that is crazy. And talking about how if the difference between me and your God according to a rapist is that I would I would do something about it while your God would just sit
Yes,
there and
I know the
watch it.
quote. Yeah.
Yeah. And first time watching that and hearing how she formulated the sentence and whatnot, like
Yep.
it blew my mind. And how people aren't registering what's being said and how something's not clicking in their head when they're being told this. And it just and then so after each video hours long I would go to the next one and keep watching because I was fascinated with all this, you know
Mhm.
and how they talk to people. And it just amazes me. So
Yeah, they're probably the two prominent ones that stood out in my mind for sure, along with Russell and Jen Peoples as well.
oh yeah.
And these days, and yes, folks, we all know why, but there was a big falling out at the ACA back when I went to the last Faithless Forum. And now you don't see Jen and you don't see Tracy
Yeah.
on the show. It's a little clashing of things went on there. And it's too bad that happened, and it's too bad
Yeah.
that it was never resolved. I always thought that these folks would be big enough or strong enough to resolve through this kind of thing, but I guess it's funny because it's almost like people have taken dogmatic positions, which we always try to kind of stay away from, really. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some things that we have in our minds that are going to be dogmatic, right? But you'd think that folks that call themselves critical thinkers and call themselves, other things along those lines, would be able to work through this. But it's unfortunate that they haven't been able to do so. I hope in the future that things will eventually tease out into a better state of the way things are currently.
Yeah.
And I'm often a guest on many of the ACA shows, and I'll be doing this coming Wednesday. We're recording the Halloween episode, so we're all going to be in costume too, just so you guys know. Not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but I'm pretty sure they already knew that anyways, because we were talking about that elsewhere or other days too. But it should be fun. I still haven't decided what the hell. I'll probably just get dressed up as Jack Skellington, but it's hard to hear me through that fucking mask, so I might have to come up with something else. I don't have everything for I could wear your alter ego mask, the DC version of you mask that I have over there. I've got
I'm better.
I've got over there.
And it's if I'm correct, it's Deathstroke, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Deadpool kicks Deathstroke's ass.
Well, Deathstroke doesn't have the abilities Deadpool does. So
I know.
But yeah.
I was thinking about what you said about how to approach people, or people should coming out as atheists, if they should say that they're atheists, kind of thing. What I did for Caitlin is that I didn't really tell her I was an atheist most of the time at the beginning of our relationship. There would be things that we would talk about, and I would ask her questions and what she would think about that. And quite often I would say, like salesman, in my perception of what a salesman, how they would approach a situation would be, what if I told you, you know, and she goes, and when I would tell her that, she would think about what I would say, and she goes, does that really say that in the Bible? I go, yeah. And then she would go read the Bible, and then she would like, I can't believe it actually would say that. But over time, having these conversations, uh and then the Metroplex Atheist that I would go to, uh one day I go, hey, I'm gonna I go to these meetings on Wednesdays. I don't know, and I didn't tell her what it was called. It was just like a meetup. Like I meet people and we just talk about whatever. And if you want to go, you can go. And she goes, okay. And we go there, and she and then realizes it's an atheist place, and she realizes that all these people are nice people, whatever. And then realizes that uh, they have conversations about anything, and she started being asked questions about religion and stuff, and then
Sure.
made her question more about herself. And eventually, she just watched the videos I used to watch, of AXP and Talk Heathen, and it grew for her, you know. So it's just how you approach it. You don't really need to say what you are. Just have the conversations.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're important to have too.
Yeah.
I fully agree with that. And well, we're getting close to the end, so I figure why don't we just jump into an after party and invite some of our friends in to have some fun?
Sure.
Sound like a good thing?
Sounds good.
Because your girlfriend or your partner will want to be in there for sure.
I don't know if she will. I think she told me recent or before that she might not. She's not feeling so good. Yeah. Oh, you going to? Cool.
Yay! Yay! Score.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Caitlin. She's one of the mods on lots of the ACA products. So
Yeah.
there you go. And Caitlin was a recent guest on my show as well, which is
Yep.
how I ended up dragging your ass on here too. Because you were just hilarious in the background. So
Right. She told me I could behave whatever I want to behave like, or whatever, just have
for
fun.
sure.
So I'm like, cool. I could be Deadpool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be whatever the hell you want, man.
Yeah.
I think it's great, and I love the mask, and I know you guys are going to ship one out for me, which I will add to my very small yet awesome collection. It's growing. It's growing. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what fucking costume I'm going to wear for the Wednesday show. I still got to bone up on all the material they sent me too, so got to get my eyes going on that probably tomorrow before I pick it. Going to hang out with my mom for a bit, who we got into a home finally. She got into the one she wanted, which is great. I don't know if people knew that yet, but yeah, mom's in a home and she's happy, and that's the important thing. And we went for a great Greek food meal on Wednesday for my birthday. So, and I had lots of lamb and rice and Greek potatoes. You know, those potatoes that they make, which are fucking awesome. Well, I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon. Yeah, he's got the elbow, man.
Well, Deadpool's always going to win. He can't die, so, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so sorry, Neil.
I haven't put to test whether or not I can, but you know, one way to find out, I suppose. All right. Well, anyways, guys, thanks out there in the chat for hanging out with us. Everyone over on the YouTube chat, the Twitch chat, and the Twitter chat. Although Twitter, I don't think there's really a chat. People just watch from Twitter. But if you are watching from Twitter, thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, thanks to my amazing patrons. You guys really are the meat of the matter here at the show. Without you, I'm nothing. So thank you all very, very much for what you do for me. I've updated by the way, my wish list link, hint, hint, in the description box below. By the way, Wade doesn't really have a social media presence. So this is about as good as it gets for his presence on social media. But I did link Caitlin's Baking Beyond link below. So if you ever need a really super cool, awesome cake or something made up, check out that link. Deadpool cake. There you go. Check out the link and see what has been done there already. And I have myself, and there's some pretty cool stuff. Caitlin's got some skills. Anyway, don't forget that myself and my buddy Randolph are starting up our own call-in show soon enough called True North Talk. If you want to learn more about it, head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca, and it'll link you to the YouTube channel so you can go and sub and not miss our release date. Speaking of the nonprofits, myself and many other awesome people are the new hosts and co-hosts of the new revamped, relaunched nonprofits, which airs Sunday, 3 p.m. between Talk Ethan and the Atheist Experience. Head over there and check it out. Don't miss the Halloween episode. It should be a lot of fun. And the last Saturday of every month, it's back, folks. Myself, Andy, and Seamus get together along with a guest, and we do a little something called Atheist Drinking Out Loud, where we just basically poke fun at religious people and things and stuff like that. Not really fun at them, but at the beliefs and stuff like that. You get it. You get it. But anyways, guys, like I always say at the end of these shows, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, and I can't find the banner. Mikey's usually here for that, but he's slacking off tonight doing some other shit. But anyways, like I always say at the end of these shows, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys in the after party. There's a link below to it. And anyone who wants in, let me know. Cheers. Sunset.